Welcome to Expand Your Empire, the podcast where women stop deferring wealth and start building financial power. I'm Amanda Taylor, investor, strategist, and disruptor of outdated money rules. It's time to own your worth, grow your assets, and build a legacy that lasts. Hey, welcome back, Empire Builders. Thanks so much for joining us again. You keep coming back, and I so much appreciate it. We are just getting started on this journey together. I started this podcast because I am so passionate about connecting with so many of you because I keep hearing the same thing over and over again. Every time I meet someone or I talk to someone, I get this resounding response about how important this is, how needed this is. And so I want you to come along with me. I want you to continue to show up here for yourself and for your community because we're doing this together. We can't do it alone. We are a group of women who are rising up. I think I've said it before. I'm creating an army of women who are ready to change the world with their wealth. And I'm not kidding. I just see too many women either stepping aside or stepping down or not thinking that they are smart enough or worthy enough or have enough money or enough knowledge of money. And so we're just going to keep talking about it, not just our confidence and our worth, but the actual strategies, the actual learning and education of investing, of finances, of money. And, I was just interviewed on another podcast right before I decided to record this one. And they asked me a question and I'm like, what I think makes me great at this is that I am not a licensed financial advisor, financial planner. I sell no financial products. I am completely agnostic as to what you choose to invest your money in. I am here to encourage you and educate you and empower you to start the process. That's what we're doing here, okay? That's why I started this, is so I can come to you completely without agenda other than to get you in the game, to help you build that confidence and to remove that intimidation by providing just good education for you and what aligns with your values. And what do you want? What do you want to know? And I'll teach you about it and we'll learn it together. And then we decide how we want to move forward, what next steps we want to take, and how we want to plan for our future. So that's what this podcast is about. That's what our community is about. So we're in this together. We're learning together. We're learning what steps are right for us individually, okay? So that we can build a collective army, okay? I'm glad you're with me. So today, I want to talk about the things that hold us back. I've talked about this in other episodes, so promise this isn't just harping on the same thing, but we're going a little bit deeper. Most of the ambitious women I meet, I just got back from conference in San Diego, surrounded by these fantastic women. I meet women all the time who are powerful in every area of their lives. They are leaders. They are creators. They are mothers and visionaries and partners, entrepreneurs. Okay, but for some reason, when it comes to money, something shifts. Shrink, they hesitate, and they play small. Not because they're not capable, not because they don't want more, but because they are caught inside what I call the feminine wealth code. These unconscious patterns that were passed down or reinforced by culture or baked into the ways we relate to money. So today I want to break that code. I'm going to show you the most common archetypes inside this code, 3 of them, how they hold women back, and what to do if you recognize yourself in one of them. And at the end, I'm going to show you how you can take this deeper with me in a free 5-day challenge that we are starting on October 6th. All right. The first pattern I want to talk about is the nurturer. Now, the nurturer is the woman who is endlessly generous. You know her. She's the one that people rely on. I mean, if it's at work, if it's at home, inside of her business. I mean, she is the friend who pays for lunch. She's got you. She's the coach who will throw in extra sessions. The entrepreneur who adds more and more bonuses without ever raising her prices. Her strength is her heart. People trust her because they know she genuinely cares. But here is this shadow. She cares so much about others that she forgets to care for herself, right? We have all seen this in one form or another. So what happened is, I once worked with a woman who she built her entire business around serving others, but she hadn't paid herself in months. Every dollar went back into her business, into her team, and into building more programs, into her clients. She thought that, she was being selfless. She thought the more stuff she gave away for free in her business, then the more people would eventually buy from her. But in reality, she was just burning out and becoming resentful, wondering why she wasn't making enough money. So here's what happens when you live in that nurturer's trap. You create this unspoken rule that everyone's needs matter more than yours, which means your wealth never grows. This doesn't just have to do with money, and you know it. So how do we break this code? We start by setting one boundary around money. This could mean raising your rates or your prices by 10%. It could mean saying no to unpaid work. How many people get asked to do so for free? It could mean creating a separate bank account where you pay yourself first before anyone else. Okay? These are the boundaries that we can put around it. For a nurturer, that single boundary is an act of reclaiming power. The second pattern is the visionary, sometimes also called the creator. If you've read Rocket Fuel, you know who this is. Visionaries are full of ideas. They see opportunity everywhere. They get inspired. They start fast. They leap without hesitation. Their gift is imagination and courage. Shadow is consistency and structure. Visionaries often start a new program, a new offer, a new project, and then 2 weeks later, they're on to the next idea. Or they avoid structure because it feels restricted. They just kind of do whatever they feel like in the moment. This is the thing I want to do today, so this is what I'm going with. I have a partner who's a visionary. Super fun. I worked with a woman, though, who had more notebooks filled with ideas than she had clients. Every conversation with her was brilliant. I mean, she could see possibilities that I never imagined. But when it came to income, she was stuck. I mean, she was in these constant cycles of feast or famine. So 1 month, she'd have an amazing launch. And then the next month, she would be just crickets, nothing. And it was because she did not have the structure that would sustain her brilliance. She was all over the place, and there was no way for her to keep it going. So that is what we're talking about when we're talking about the visionary. Think squirrel, okay? That's the trap. As a visionary, you mistake inspiration for wealth. You think if the ideas keep flowing, the money will too. But wealth doesn't work like that. Wealth requires that we have structure, that we have ground. Okay. So what's the shift? For the visionary, pick one idea, just one, and commit to taking a micro action on it within 48 hours. Maybe that means creating a sales page or booking a sales call or setting up a system that delivers it. When a visionary learns to add even a little bit of structure to their inspiration, they become unstoppable. And let's move on to the third pattern. This is the strategist. Strategists are the planners. They love details and spreadsheets, long-term goals. They make careful decisions and rarely act impulsively, complete opposite of a visionary. Their gift is discipline. But here is the shadow: overthinking. Strategists can get so caught up in analyzing every possibility that they never move forward. They hesitate. They wait until it feels safe enough. So I'll never forget a woman I met. She had $100,000 sitting in savings and she wanted to invest in real estate. She had the money, she had the knowledge, but she kept waiting for the perfect market, the perfect deal, the perfect timing. And while she waited, the market shifted and she missed out on opportunities that could have doubled her wealth. So you see, that's the strategist trap. You think being cautious is protecting you, but really it's just keeping you stuck. And by the way, PSA, please don't keep your money in a bank savings account. You are letting inflation just eat it away. At the bare minimum, keep it in a high yield savings account. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. So how do you break these codes? Especially for the strategist, choose one decision that you've been sitting on and take a bold step today. It doesn't have to be massive. It could be opening the account, submitting an application, or just making a call. The moment you take action, you break the paralysis. And that's when your wealth starts to expand. These are the 3 most common archetypes inside of our feminine wealth code. And here's the thing. Everyone has one. Or if you're anything like me, maybe you have a little bit of all 3. I'm a natural born strategist. I want all the details, all the bullet points, all the plans and spreadsheets. I used to hesitate to move forward on anything unless I had evaluated every possible scenario. I shared that in a previous episode. That was my fear of failure. I had to learn to trust myself and make moves even before I thought I was ready. I had to learn, and I'm still learning, to say yes and then figure out the how later, because that is when the magic happens. So I'm a classic nurturer as well. I bet I check every box of that archetype. And I'm learning that that all came from a lack of self-confidence or self-worth. And that's what I had to see. And once you know yours, you can see exactly where you're strong and where you're leaking power and how to start building wealth in alignment with who you really are. So that is why I created the Feminine Wealth Archetype Quiz. In just a few minutes, you're going to discover your archetype, your shadow, and your path to power. And because knowing is only the beginning, I designed a free 5-day challenge called Reclaim Your Financial Power. So starting on October 6th, I'm going to guide you through breaking these patterns and mapping out your first wealth expansion move. So take the quiz today, register for the challenge, and I have the link in the show notes for you. Your feminine wealth code isn't meant to keep you broke. It's meant to reveal the exact path to your money power. So here's your action step. You're going to take the quiz. Again, the link is in the show notes. And then once you've done that, you're going to join the free 5-day challenge. We are starting on October 6th. Because the truth is, you were not meant to play small. You are meant to expand your impact. Thank you for joining us today, for coming back, for learning more about who you are, who you want to be, who you were meant to be, and what you're telling yourself and what you're telling others through your actions. How do you want to control your money? How do you want to show up in your business? How do you want to show up to your family? And each one of these archetypes has the strength, but has the shadow. And we can work within that to create something great. So let's play to those strengths. Let's take the quiz. Let's find out exactly where we fit in. And let's all come together starting October 6th for that masterclass, that challenge. We're going to grow together. We're going to work together. I can't wait to see you in there, and I will see you next time. Until next time, go expand your empire.
If this lit something up, share it, review it, and get in the room. Join the Expand Your Empire community and start turning wisdom into wealth. You're not too late, and you're not doing this alone.